Prakash, are you able to reach Swayam Prakash Prabhu? His phone is
I'll
switched off.
call him, Prabhuji. I'll
Yeah,
call him.
phone is switched off.
Oh,
Trying to reach Swarnagar Prabhu, but not answering.
okay, Prabhuji. I'll call.
Hare Krishna, Swayam Prakash Prabhu, Danat Pranam. Swayam Prakash Prabhu, ಕೇಳಿಸಿದೆಯಾ? Can you hear me? Hare Krishna, Swayam Prakash Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Swayam Prakash Prabhu, Danat Pranam. ಕೇಳಿಸಿದೆಯಾ? Can you hear me?
The Bluetooth device is ready to pairs.
Just a minute,
Yeah.
move this.
The Bluetooth.
Hare Krishna, Danat Pranam Prabhu.
No. Sorry.
ಕೇಳಿಸಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're ready ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, Danat Pranam. So, we are so fortunate to have His Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu today as a Gaura Purnima special today. The three topics Sankarshan Prabhu said: Vaishnava, Seva, Jivadaya, and
Namaruchi.
Namaruchi. Yes, yeah. So today Swayam Prakash Prabhu going to enlighten us on Vaishnava Seva. So over to you, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
It is like we are discussing about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So as Gaur Purnima is coming close, so let us try to recollect some of the things from what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So today he told me to share some things on this aspect of Vaishnava Seva, and we'll see what is Vaishnava Seva, or why Vaishnava Seva is important, or how it benefits, and how can we implement in our life, and some of the scriptural or the examples from the Shastras we'll try to see. So, just one shloka from the Bhagavatam. This is the section of Ambarish Maharaj. When we know this, Ambarish Maharaj was, I think, in one way cursed, or he was Durasmani comes, and then he becomes so angry with Ambarish Maharaj that was the time Ambarish Maharaj does nothing, but he just stands praying to the Lord, and the Durasmani creates a demon to attack Ambarish Maharaj, but Ambarish Maharaj doesn't do anything. But immediately the Sudarshan Chakra comes, and Durasmani starts running everywhere. And he goes to all the places, and finally to the Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu also, when he says that, begs forgiveness, then he says, no, I cannot do anything. Then he tells this shloka. We'll just read it today, and then we'll continue. I'm just sharing. This is the 9th canto, 4th chapter, 63rd verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradhino Hyaswatantra Iva Dvija Sadhubir Grasta Hridayo Bhakter Bhakta Jana Priyaha. That time the Lord says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the core of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. So here one thing is that Lord is sitting in the Lord, who is saying that this Lord's personally he's saying that because that my devotees, they are completely devoid of material desire. They don't have any other alternate this one sadhu aham bhakta paradhino. I become completely dependent on my this one, and swatantra. I don't have any independence. So because the sadhubir grastar, they keep me in their core of their heart, and I keep them in the core of my heart. There's one more song in which it says that what is it? Govinda kahena mora Vaishnava pran. Tomare hridaya sada Govinda Vishram. Govinda kahena mora Vaishnava pran. That O Vaishnava Thakur, in your core of your heart, always the Lord Govinda sits, and the Govinda says the Vaishnavas are my the life. So here also Lord is saying that what to speak of my devotees who are very dear to me, even those who are devotees of my devotees are also very dear to me. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, all the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of Supreme Personality Godhead. But the Supreme Personality Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Because the devotee is Anyabhilashita Shunya. In other words, he has sorry. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keva. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartuf Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Thus, he instructed us to become not directly servants of Krishna, but servants of the servants of Krishna. Devotees like Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, and Shukadeva Goswamis are directly servants of Krishna. And one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, Shukadeva, like the 6 Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. If one very sincerely serves the spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Gapa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, as we are discussing here and today, and in this verse also, as Lord Himself is very clearly saying that my devotees are very dear to me. So, as a practicing sadhakas, we all have a desire that ultimately I want to go back to the spiritual world, and I don't want any more coming to this world and suffering the threefold miseries. But being forgotten of our real identity, we identify with this body, things of this world, aham mameti, and we get stuck in this world. But it is the causeless mercy of the devotees, and especially Srila Prabhupada has given us this knowledge that how We are not this body, but we are the spirit, soul, and eternal servants of Krishna, and our real duty is to serve him and go back to the spiritual world. Every day when one goes to the serving in the altar, like after doing the achaman, one does the bhuta shuddhi. That is, this body is made up of the pancha mahabhutas and the mind also. So purifying them by reminding ourselves of our real identity. So there we offer this prayer that it is the cause, this mercy of the spiritual master who has given us this understanding. And with that, like now considering myself as a spirit soul, I'm entering into the service of the Supreme Lord. So there we recite this shloka also, Naham Vipro Nachanarapatir Napi Vaishnava Shudro. Neither I am belong to any of these four uh, uh, varnas and the ashramas. But what is my real identity? Gopi Bharta Padkamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudasa. That I am the servant of the gopis. So then what is the duty of a servant? Duty of a servant is to serve the master. Like now, here it is said, like now the dasa servant means to serve. Like now that means serve as per the pleasure of the master, not as per one's own pleasure. So that way, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Jivera Swarup Krishnera Nityadas. The Swarup or the real identity of any living entity is that he is a servant of the Lord. So that means the very moment dasa means servant means to serve, but then we should know whom to serve or like where to put our service, because of the wrong misidentification. One cannot separate this service attitude from oneself, because that's the innate quality of the soul is to love and serve, and that cannot be separated. Innate quality means just like the sugar is sweet, it cannot be separated from the sugar sweetness. They are similar ways, saltiness cannot be separated from the salt. Same way, this loving and serving cannot be separated from the soul, because by nature it is its nature is to love and serve. And that way, what happens is one in this world also, everybody serves somebody or the other. And that we very clearly see the parents are the children and the children serve the parents, and then the person serves his boss in the office. That way somebody or the other one is serving. If nobody is there, then sometimes they serve their pets. And if one says that I don't serve anyone, but he serves his own mind and senses, and becomes Godasa. Whereas, when one understands one's real identity, then he changes his complete perspective or the goal of, rather than serving for oneself or misidentifying with his body and the mind, he identifies oneself as a servant of the Supreme Lord and servant of the Vaishnavas. And that's when he starts serving the Vaishnavas, understanding why goal of life is not to just to be happy in this world, but to go to the go back to the spiritual world. And how to go back? If I want something, I should go to a person who has it, and only person who has it can give us. Just like a beggar, if he goes begging the alms, he can get the alms from a person who has something. If a beggar goes to another beggar and asks, the other beggar may not be able to give him anything. So the same way, understanding that I want to attain Krishna, then I should go to somebody who has Krishna, or who can give me that. So that's why a devotee wants to take shelter of a Vaishnava, or Vaishnava means who is the worshipper of Lord Vishnu, as we saw in this shloka only, that how Lord is saying that I'm not independent, because by the love and devotion, my devotee has captured, and he not captured, captivated me in his heart, that I cannot get released from that. So, and that's what a devotee wants. Let's say in the song "O He Vaishnava Thakura," in that beautifully, it comes that how he's asking for that, first one is that he prays that, एकाकी आमार नहीं पाया बाला हरिनामा संकीर्तने তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে. He prays that, alone I don't have any strength, so please give me a drop of the faith which you have, so that I can also chant Krishna, and also give me the Krishna Namadhana, real wealth is the holy name of the Krishna. Please give me that wealth, because you have that wealth. So we all know the story of the Sanatana Goswami and that Brahmana who comes asking for the touchstone, and later he gets the Harinam, and then Sanatana Goswami says that this is the real wealth which I have, and he gives him. So same way devotee asks for this Krishna Namadhana, and then again in the next shloka he says, Krishna se tomara Krishna dite para tomara shakati ache. Krishna dite para, you have Krishna, and because of which you can give Krishna to me. Krishna se tomara, he is yours. Why? Because he has Vaishnava has captivated the Lord through his loving service, that Lord cannot go away from him or from his heart. So that way he says that please give me Krishna, because you have Krishna. And he begs. And then the same way, understanding that a Vaishnava has the Supreme Lord, a devotee begs, and to get that, the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one serve the Vaishnavas, because Lord only says at many places that Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadhika, that serving my devotees is much more pleasing to me than somebody worshipping me. And we all know this, when Mother Parvati was discussing with Lord Shiva, that time Lord Shiva also says this shloka, Aradhananam hi sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam param. Amongst all the Aradhananam sarvesham, in all the different types of the worship, Vishnur Aradhanam param, supremost is to worship the Lord Vishnu. Tasmat Parataram Devi, even more topmost than that is Tadiyanam Samarchanam, that serving the Tadiya, or the anything which is related to the devotees, and as devotees are related to the Lord, anything is related to the Lord. So Tadiya means the things related to the Lord, and devotees being related to the Lord, they are serving them and worshipping them as the topmost. So that way, serving the Vaishnavas is the topmost, or considered to be one of the special, because they have Krishna, they can give. And this we can see in many, many examples that how by serving the great souls, offering the service, one gets the special blessings. Especially in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam itself comes that how Narada boy was a small, just 5-year-old boy, and the Bhakti Vedantas, the sages had come during the Chaturmasya and they stayed in his village, and his mother was serving them, and along with it he also served. And through that service, he got the opportunity to hear from them and accept their remnants. That there it comes, Uchishta Lepa Anumodita Dvijay, Sakratsma Bungje, Tadapasya Kilbisham. That once I got to take the remnants of their foodstuffs, and by that, Tadapasya Kilbisham, all the Kilbisha or the unwanted things from the core of my heart, it went away. And then bhakti rasa prajayate, that he got the taste to practice here more and more and the serve. And as it comes in the same Bhagavatam, Sushtrusho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. That Sushtrusho Shraddhadanasya, Vasudeva Kataruchi, how to develop taste for the hearing the katha of Lord Vasudeva is by through the Sushtrusho Shraddhadanasya, with all the faith, serving Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra, serving the great souls. By that one gets the taste for hearing the Krishna Katha also. And who are those great souls? Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita only that Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti mashrita bhajanti ananya manaso. Last line, what is it? Jnatva bhutadim avyayam. That he says that Mahatmanas Tumam Partha, who are the Mahatmas? They are under the Daivi Prakriti Mashrita. There is the Yogamaya and the Mahamaya. They are always under the Yogamaya potency of the Lord. And what is their quality? They are Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. With one pointed, with undeviated, this one, they are constantly remembering and serving the Supreme Lord. That is he's telling, they constantly remember me. So that way, even in the Bhagavatam also it is said that to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take the shelter of a realized soul or a Mahatma. And because his interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, there is nothing else other than this, because of which he can give Krishna and one can make progress very fast. So that's why Prabhupada writes in one of the purport also that one must take the shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a material educated scholar or politician. When one takes shelter of such a nishkinchana, that is a person engaged in devotional service and who is free from material contamination, that is the way to return to back to Godhead. So Prabhupada emphasizes on this, because this is what even same thing Prahlad Maharaj also says when he asks his his father Hiranyakashipu asks Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad, what did you learn in the school? So that time he says to his father that you are in a deep dark well, Gromanda Kupam, Vanam Gatoya Dharimashayata, that please take shelter, Lord Hari. And Then he says also this, that Naisha Matista Vaduru Kramangrim Sprishyat Tanartapagamo Yadartha Mahiyasam Padarajobhishekam Nishkinchananam Navrinita Yavat. That unless, like now, one smears upon their body the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, like now, complete freed from material contamination. So persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. That doesn't happen. And only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in this way, one can be freed from the material contamination. So other than this, there is no way. So Prabhupada very nicely writes in the purport to this shloka that unless one takes shelter of bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. Because Krishna cannot be understood by our own material logic, or it is not that Krishna can be accessed by one's any of the skills or something. There's a beautiful verse which Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says, Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka kubjayam kimu nama rupamadikam kim tat sudham no dhanam.
Vamsako viduro.
Vamshako vidurasya yadavapate ugrasya kim paurusham bhaktya tushyati kevalam na cha gunair bhakti priyo madhava. In this, he says that Vyadasya Charanam, Vyadha, that is like he was a hunter, which comes in the 11th canto. What was his acharana, or what was his special quality? There is no special good quality of this Vyadha, but he had faith in the Lord, and because of which he becomes a devotee. Vyadasya Charanam, Cha Dhruvasya Cha Vayo. What was the age of Dhruva? He was a small boy of 5-year-old. Vidya Gajendra Seka, what was the great learning of Gajendra? Kubjayam Kimunama Rupam Adhikam, what was the great beauty of Kubja? Kubjasya Kimunama Rupam Adhikam. Kimtat Sudhamno Dhanam, what was the wealth of Sudhama? Then Kimtat Sudhamno Dhanam, what was the Vamsha? Vamsha Ko Vidurasya Yadavapate, what was the great lineage of Vidura? It was nothing. And what was the Paurusha of Ugrasena? Nothing. So that way, nothing of this world can satisfy the Supreme Lord. Only Bhakti Priyo Madhava, only by devotion, Lord can be satisfied. And if one has this devotion, Lord becomes captivated by such devotion, as we saw in the case of Ambrish Maharaj also. He didn't do anything. He was remembering the Lord, and Lord was there to protect. The same is with the Prahlad Maharaj also. Prahlad always just constantly remembered the Lord, and then Lord was there to protect him right from all the dangers. So that way, naturally, by one's devotion, the devotee attracts. He becomes so attractive that Krishna gets attracted to the devotion of the devotee. And we all have heard this pastime of the South Indian Brahmana who was in the Srirangam, who was trying to read Bhagavad Gita because of the order of his spiritual master, although he was not so well learned or very scholarly. He would recite Bhagavad Gita with many mistakes, and many times he could not pronounce also properly. But every time he would take out the Bhagavad Gita and recite, tears would roll from his eyes constantly. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this, and he asked that, "Oh, why are you so emotional, and why are you crying?" Then he said that, I don't know. Whenever I take this Bhagavad Gita and start reading, all that comes to my mind is that the beautiful image of the Supreme Lord, who is the proprietor, master of the entire cosmic creation, Akilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka, he becoming the chariot driver of Arjuna and getting kicked on his back, remembering his like sweet or bhakta vatsalyata, his love towards devotees, it melts my heart and makes me like cry. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, actually you have understood the real essence of the scripture. Whereas there were many other scholarly people who were able to recite, pronounce properly, recite, understand Sanskrit and all, but they would laugh seeing this simple Brahmana. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they have not understood anything. So that way, it is not by our own qualification that one can understand anything. It's only the bhakti is not attained, but bhakti is awarded. And to get the bhakti, one cannot demand, like just like a beggar cannot demand, he has to beg. Only the way how he begs, he can get the the alms. Like this I had shared before also. Once I was traveling from Kanpur to Pune. It was jam-packed train, almost around in the berth where 8 people can stay. There were almost around nearly 27 or 28 people were sitting, and there was no place to even to walk. One blind beggar was passing, like somehow making little space and asking for the alms. He came to our compartment and he asked, and one person gave him a coin. This beggar took the coin, he touched it, sensed it, and then he kept it like this and he tossed it. And it flew and fell. And everybody were shocked. And the beggar said, "Arey, dena hai to sahi wala do na. Ye chalta nahi hai." That means this coin doesn't go. Nobody takes. And Bechara, the person who gave, he didn't knew much anything about this. So he had just out of a compassion, he had given him the coin. The moment he said this, everybody started scolding him and shouting him, "Get lost!" And the person who had given also, he got the coin and he kept him, and then he was thrown away from that place. I was just wondering that if a beggar is proud of while begging, he cannot get any alms. Only by humbly begging, if the same person, if you would have asked, "Sir, this doesn't work in this place, so can you please give me some other coin?" He would have just humbly presented. He might have taken that coin, and if he doesn't have other coin, he would have given 10 rupees more only. But when one is proud, one will not get anything. The same way, the bhakti is not purchased, or we cannot purchase Krishna with any of the things of this world, because Krishna is the source of everything. All the 6 opulences for which the people of this world hanker, it is 100% in him. So what else can impress? Krishna is not impressed by anybody's anything, as we saw in that verse also. So that way it is only the devotion. And the devotion, how do we get the devotion? We don't have anything also. That is also to be begged. So this whole process of Krishna consciousness or spiritual life is to become better and better beggar. When we see a person, the beggars, we may show them off, and we don't want to be near, but actually what we have to become is nothing but a beggar. And a beggar has to go to a person who is a rich person to get the alms. And after going there also, he cannot just be proud that I'm a beggar, I'm begging. No, he cannot. He need to keep begging till the time he doesn't get. And that's how we see even Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was such a scholarly person. He had written before, even when he was studying, he had written the commentary on Surya Siddhanta, and the post of professor in the Calcutta University was kept reserved for him before his completion. That was his scholarly this one. But the same when he his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, suggested him to accept initiation from Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who on a mundane perspective may not be such highly Sanskrit scholar or something. He was not very well versed in quoting the shlokas or this one maybe. But Bhaktivedanta Thakur understood that yes, essence of spiritual life is not in reciting or quoting or knowing Sanskrit, but it is having the devotion. And he went 17 times begging for initiation. And Gaur Kishore Das Maharaj would give different reason. Oh, I didn't ask Gauranga. I'll ask Gauranga. If he says yes, I'll give. But he didn't say anything. I don't know. Like that, 17 times he sent him back. And finally, like he said that now, if you don't initiate me, I'll jump in the Ganga and take away my life. That was the time seeing his sincere, genuine this one, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj accepted him. But every time when everybody would glorify Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he would say that like all of you are glorifying me, I'm like a fan which is rotating. Everybody may be able to see the fan, but the fan cannot rotate without the motor. And my Guru Maharaj is like that motor. Who is make me like now run? Or he would give another example that I'm like the boat which may appear to be like now going and moving from one place to other place and doing big things, but actually the radar which is there inside, that is propelling the whole thing, the propeller. And my Guru Maharaj is that propeller. Without his mercy, I cannot do anything. That was his humble attitude. So the same way, it is only by the Vaishnavas, this one who has Krishna, they can award us the Krishna and like now get his blessing. And it is not only that like now one can get Krishna, only by the devotees' blessings one can get, and without that there is no way one can directly approach Krishna. So we all have heard this beautiful example of Kanchipurna, who was fanning the Lord and speaking to the Lord. And one of the Brahmanas, he asked, can you please, Kanchipurna, you speak to the Lord, can you please ask, when will I go back to Vaikuntha? Then Kanchipurna asked the Lord, and Lord said that just in this lifetime only he'll go back. Then Kanchipurna became curious. So next day he asked the Lord, Lord, when will I go back? Lord said, no, you will not go back. It may take millions of lifetimes. He became shocked. But Lord, how is that he is going back, but like no, I don't have. Then Lord Varadaraj said that see, he is serving the Vaishnavas because of which he'll go back to Godhead in this life. But you are serving me. You wanted that. You want to speak to me. You want to offer chamara, like no, this fan to me. Then I have given that opportunity. But without serving my devotee, nobody can come back to me. The moment he heard it, he left that there only and ran to Goshtipurna and then like no, changed his dress and he started serving him menially and his Goshala. And then later, like when that, that incident of when it rained and he had to change his dress, and then like he comes to see that, oh my, like no, covered, like no, the person like Gwala doesn't have anything, so let me give him something, some cloth. He comes and sees that because he didn't had any other dress than the sannyas cloth, spare one. So he was wearing that, and he sees and he realizes that oh, he's Kanchipurna, and he comes and begs obeisances, offers his this one. So that way, like no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two principles from each sampradaya, and from Sri Sampradaya he took the Vaishnava Seva and the deity worship. And in the Sri Sampradaya, Vaishnava service to Vaishnava is given at most importance. And there are many wonderful pastimes in which emphasizes this service to the Vaishnava. This is one of them. And another is also like how Ramanujacharya was personally eager to serve. Like no, he wanted to call Kanchipurna and he wanted to take the remnants of his this one. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Bhakta Pada Dholiyar, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhokta Vasheshati Namahabal. This Bhakta Pada Dholi, the dust which is from the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, the water which has washed the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, and the Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha, the remnants of the devotee. These are the three Tina Mahabal. These are the three most powerful things to make progress in our spiritual life. So that way, like no, one is eager for taking that. So even in the case of Sri Vaishnava, there are so many wonderful examples which come, that how they are so eager that Ramanujacharya himself wanted to, he calls Kanchipurna to come home and accept the prasad, because his desire was that when he comes, we get to offer him like no, the prasad, and then that way we can serve him and also we can get his uchishta. But Kanchipurna was very intelligent. He comes in a time when Ramacharya had gone out, and he tells his wife that he had called me. Then she says, yes, I know. And he said, he'll just come. Please wait for some time. No, I have to go for service. Please give me the prasad and I'll go. Then she serves him, and then he takes, and then he cleans the place and goes. And like she thinks that, okay, he is from a lower caste, so let me throw away everything and recook for my husband. And like she does, and when Ramacharya comes and understands what has happened, he becomes very much pained to see that like no, she has not understood the essence of the spiritual life. I wanted to serve and I wanted to accept his uchishta, but like no, I missed it. So that way we see that even another incident that once, I'm not sure it was Goshtipurna or one more Acharya, he was passing by in the Kaveri banks. That time Ramanujacharya was also going, like no. The moment Ramanujacharya sees him, he offers like the prostrated obeisances. It was in the like no afternoon, and in the afternoon we all know that in the normal road or the place itself is so hot, whereas the sand of Kaveri was burning, and Ramanujacharya is offering obeisances, and it is a culture, or there's a etiquette that unless it is told by the superior, one doesn't get up. Like no, and his guru was not speaking anything, and Ramanujacharya was lying on the ground itself. And then seeing that all the disciples also doesn't know what to do, because they cannot speak in front of the spiritual master, they were wondering. But one of the person, he could not tolerate seeing that Ramacharya is like his guru, that he says to the Ramanacharya's guru that please request him to get up. It is like a Maryada Vatikraman. But he didn't mind that, okay, even if I had to get any reaction back, I don't mind, but I cannot see my spiritual master undergoing this. So then he says Ramacharya to get up, and he says, Ramacharya, from today onwards, he is the one who should cook for you and you eat, because he feels for you. So he will like now serve you properly. Because there was a one of the pujaris, he wanted to feed poison to Ramanujacharya and like kill him. So that was near to that incident this had happened. So that way, like we see that how service to the Vaishnava is like everywhere glorified, and we see in our this also that how Narottam Das Thakur, who himself has told this Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paya Chekeva, that he served his spiritual master Lokanath Goswami, wanted to accept his like shelter, lotus feet, that he served in a way that like he doesn't come to know when a devotee serves, it is not that he like want some name, fame or something. No, Narottam Das Thakur served in such menial way that even Loknath Goswami didn't knew that he's serving him. But when he came to know that, he started crying. So that way, when he was asked that I don't have anything other than this, like, he was expressing that he asked for the shelter at the lotus feet of Lokanath Goswami, and then he initiates him. Same way we see that one of the greatest scholar in our Sampradaya, Jiva Goswami, he was also like serving and assisting like Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami in all the possible menial ways in their services. So that way, all our acharyas have also, through their example, they've shown this, the emphasis of this Vaishnava Seva. Even we see when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he accepted uh, initiation from Ishwar Puri, when he came back, he was so eager to serve the Vaishnava that he would go to the banks of Ganga, and there all the devotees who were there, they might have washed their clothes and all, then he would fold them and try to carry them and serve in some way or the other. And also we see the way the Ishwar Puri, he served his spiritual master Madhavendra Puri, by which he got the blessings of his spiritual master. On the other hand, Ramachandra Puri, who was the same god brother of Ishwar Puri, but he was when in the last days of Madhavendra Puri, when he would call out the names of the gopis, he says, "Why are you calling the names of the gopis?" Hearing that, Madhavendra Puri became so disgusted that he got the displeasure of his spiritual master, and we know that how he got ruined in his spiritual life. So it's only by the blessings and the mercy of a Vaishnava that one can get the bhakti, and without that, even whatever little bhakti is there, if we get the displeasure of a Vaishnava, then our bhakti is also checked, or we don't will not be able to make progress. So even in the 11th canto, Krishna himself, while speaking to Uddhava, he speaks about the quality of his devotee. What are the qualities of my devotee because of which I get attracted to them, and what makes them special? This is 11th canto, 19th chapter, 20 to 24 verse. In that, Krishna tells that firm faith in the blissful narration of my pastime, constant chanting of my glories, unwavering attachment to ceremonial worship of me, praising me through beautiful hymns, great respect for my devotional service, offering obeisances with the entire body, performing first class worship of my devotees, consciousness of me in all living entities, offering of ordinary bodily activities in my devotional service, use of words to describe my qualities, offering the mind to me, rejection of all material desires, giving up wealth for my devotional service, renouncing material sense gratification and happiness, and performing all desirable activities such as charity, sacrifice, chanting, vows, and austerities with the purpose of achieving me. These constitute genuine religious principle by which those human beings who have actually surrendered themselves to me automatically develop love for me. What other purpose or goal could remain for my devotees? So, in this only the word comes Mad Bhakta Puja Vedika. That no, it is the superior quality. The Lord is extremely satisfied with those who offer worship to His pure devotees, and He rewards them accordingly. And we see that no, Lord becomes sold out to them to so much that He is ready to. He wants to serve them. Pandavas are so dedicated to Krishna that Krishna was always trying to see how can I serve the Pandavas. He would take the headache. And we see even in the case of Madhavendra Puri that Lord was so pleased with the Madhavendra Puri that he, no, the Gopinath stole the kheer just to fulfill his desire, this one. So that way, many, this comes in the Bhagavatam. No, even in the Srivas Thakur's house, there was Dukhi, who was serving the Vaishnavas in the background. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his blessings or mercy to him and gave the name Sukhi. And also no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving his mercy to Kalidas, who was eager to take the remnants of all the Vaishnavas. So that way he gave his mercy. On the contrary, that we see that by offending Vaishnavas, Ramachandra Puri got destroyed, and Like no, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not ready to give his mercy to Sachimata because she had offended Advaita Acharya. Unless only when she took the dust of Advaita Acharya, then she could be relieved of that. And same way, Devanand Pandit, who had offended, he didn't offend directly, but his disciples offended Srivas Thakur and he didn't speak anything, because of which he lost taste for Bhagavatam. And then later he didn't get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then only when he served Vakreshwar Pandit, when he was dancing, he was about to fall, he held him. And through that service to the Vaishnavas, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his blessings. And then later he wrote that beautiful song that Vrindavana Vasi Jata Vaishnava Eragana Sabara Charanamando like he offers obeisances to the all the devotees in the Vrindavan, then Nilachala Vasi Chana, and then he says that Hoi Beno Hoya Chana, those who became devotees and who are going to become devotees, I offer my prostrated obeisances. That's what he says. So that way, the way of, even in the Bhagavatam and all, it says so much places that Sadhu Sangha is given. Sadhu Sangha is association of the devotees. In the association of the devotees, what one does is the serving. And how to serve the Vaishnava, it is different ways. There is Vapu Seva, Vani Seva. One may serve the physical service to the Vaishnavas whenever possible, and whenever not possible, the serving the following the instructions of the Vaishnava. That is also service to the Vaishnava. That's why it emphasized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shasaka, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi. Just a moment association with the sadhu can give all the benefits. And the Bhagavatam also, two places this shloka comes. Tulayama lavena api na swargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. In that he says, Tulayama lavena api, even there cannot be anything which can compare to the lavamatra association of the Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, those who are Sangi or the associates of Lord, Supreme Lord. Their Sangha is so valuable that it cannot be compared to Swargam na Punarbhamam. That is, cannot be compared even going to the Swargaloka or getting out of this na Punarbhamam. That is na Punarbhamam means not coming to this material world. Liberation, that also cannot be compared. So that is the speciality. And even in the case of Rahugana and the Jadabharta says that Rahugana tat tapasana yati nachejya nirvaparanad grihadva na chandasa naiva jalagni surya vina mahat padarajobhishekam. That without taking the dust, raja means the dust of abhisheka means taking the bath in the dust of my devotees, Lord, not my devotees, Mahatpada. Without that, not by one's own tapasa, not by the worship, nor by any amount of the recitation of the scholarly way or scholarship, nor by the austerities of being in the middle of the Jala or Agni or the Surya, one cannot get. Only by getting the dust of the lotus feet one can develop this one. So that way there are many more this one where the glories of the Lord is emphasized, and by serving them one can also get the same things which they have. Just to end with, just like the in the Corona time, all were concerned about not to get affected by the contaminating or contagious disease, that it may spread. Just by accepting things which is used by the person who is affected, the other healthy person also will get affected by that. The same way this Krishna Bhakti is also a contagious disease. So that way when one comes across a person who is having this disease of mad for Krishna, only there is a way to become get the taste or or mercy of Krishna. So that's why it's the scriptures very much emphasize about the serving the Vaishnavas, and that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also through his own this one he also emphasized to the extent that when Haridas Thakur left his body, he personally took it and then he wanted to serve the prasadam to all the devotees, personally. And we know unless worshipping the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas and serving them and pleasing them, Nityan Prabhu showed through the example of Raghunath Das Goswami that you cannot get the blessings of Lord Chaitanya without serving the Vaishnavas. So that way, especially in our this one Sampradaya, following in the footsteps of Sri Vaishnavas, that emphasis is very much given to service to the Vaishnavas. So that way, we all can take opportunity to during this festival time to offer whatever service possible. The service, it need not have to be that serving like massaging or something only. Even giving valuable time to the other Vaishnava is also a service, and speaking inspiring, encouraging word is also a small way. So it can be in any way one can try to serve in a gross way and in subtle way. One should be always at least in the mood of the service, which is very it is the essence or the backbone of the spiritual life. So these were a few things which I just thought of sharing. As such, all of you are already doing. So please pray that I also develop this attitude to serve more. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Swayam Prakash Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful nectar, especially highlighting the importance of serving Vaishnavas. Quite a lot pastimes covered, whether Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Sripad Ramanujacharya, so many pastimes covered, and emphasizing the Vaishnava Seva. So now over to devotees. They want to any questions, comments? I think we are run out of time, 8:20 already. So yeah, devotees can please go ahead. Anyone, any questions, comments, realization? I think when Mataji, I think it was Saraswati Mataji.
From which book we get stories? This there's one book on the life of Ramanujacharya. There it is mentioned, and then many other stories I heard I don't know about the exact books, but as soon as Radhanath Swami Maharaj had taken a South India Yatra, and in that he had elaborately explained about these things. So I had heard from that. From that I remember Mataji. So it was in 2005 which he had taken. So those yatras, lectures. There may be some. There will be surely some books, but at least I am not aware of.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone? Any questions, comments? Okay. Okay. So nothing else. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your valuable time. So they will continue this from tomorrow onwards again. The topics, I don't know, Sankarshan Prabhu will decide. Vaishnava Seva done. Now other two will be there. So please stick on to Zoom for tomorrow, same time. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripa sindhubhyasya patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu ki jai. So thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. We'll end the call tomorrow.